This is sort of for Patty Broussard, but this can apply to anybody, okay? Including all your higher dimensionals. Powerful gods and powerful goddesses with enormous creative imagination that have an enormous amount of energy to run a classroom, carve out a biosphere. Because this was something that I was talking to her, okay, a few minutes ago. I'm always in communication with her. She certainly knows my heart, but one of the things I wanted to do, I thought, Mom, I'm going to go over to the Redwoods. I got to go over where it's really magical. It's a timeless place, right? No memory. I'm not holding on to anything in memory. living in now time, so I write love stories and love poetry to her. Okay, through my heart to her heart or to another girl's heart, but it's the same thing. Okay, because she experienced what's in my heart that I share with another girl. Okay, that's why the girl on the planet always knows my heart, what I'm experiencing, because she's experiencing it. Okay, so because it's powerful stuff. Okay, it's the way that love expresses itself. That's why when you are what love is, you're already there. Everything is simple. That's why love is the truth. It's the most simplest truth there is. I don't need to listen to 1,000 videos to have all these other people tell me what's going on. Okay, I'm always with her. So I implicitly trust whatever she's got in store. Okay? So, when self-knowledge, which is gnosis, is you are what love is in living spirit, then you live by one function, which is what love is, because that's what you are. What else more do you need to know? Right? You know as a child, hey, I'm an eternal light being. Right? You got to maintain your light. And the easiest way to do that is just keep giving your energy away. Okay. That's as simple as it gets. Right? So you already know how it works because you're working it. You are what that is. That's called a self-reference, which is self-knowledge, which is gnosis. So anyway, I was sitting there talking to her, and I thought, you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to get over to the Redwoods so I can live through my heart and write you love letters and then share them with the rest of the cosmos, particularly writing bedtime stories for children. So they can feel the power of that love through their heart, through what I experience through my heart that I write those stories with. That's simple. So I thought, I'm writing these stories to you, right? But they're also for other hearts to experience. So I said, but you know something? You already know I've already written those stories. So why do it? Want to do it in play mode in a physical body while I'm here? Which means she's already experienced those stories that I already wrote to her, which means why even go over to the Redwoods then? I won't even bother because you've already experienced what's in my heart, which is in the future. But wait a second, we live in the now. That's play mode. That's all there is. Well, then I don't need to share those stories with you. You already know what they are. Remember all the data that's in all those libraries of all those stories that have already been told, that we've already lived? Whoops. That can lead to boredom. If you already know that you've already experienced all the stories there are to tell because you're running that fast, because you already know what the future is, which is what the now is, which means we don't live in the past because that's already gone. So that's just reliving what you've already done. Why do you want to do it again if it's already been recorded once? Well, the future's not here yet, so all you got is right now. So let's live in a different story. Write another chapter. Is there one you haven't thought of yet? Yeah. There's always something new. That's what makes the cosmos so beautiful, is to be able to experience everything that is new and different from something that is different in the last one. Which is why when you think about when I was small and you go to the San Diego Zoo, right, which at the time I think it was the largest zoo in the world in terms of a selection, even though I can think, wow, look at all this stuff, all these animals that are here, right? Everything from reptiles to giraffes to a bison to a lion to a silverback ape, right? Boy, you talk about something that can rip you apart. You wouldn't want to piss off a silverback, I'll tell you that, okay? put him in the ring with one of them boxers, what they call it, the ultimate fighting machines. Put a silverback in there with one of these guys. Watch what a silverback does to him. Okay? So anyway, what I wanted to share here had to deal with love is the law. There's one law, which is love is the law. That allows everything else to be simple. Okay? So if you're running by rule-driven functions, then you're held captive by all those functions, right? Which means you're held captive by all those politicians. So we don't allow what is known as second law nations to capture first law nations because we live by one law. We don't live in a political system. We are a spiritual being. We live by one law. Love is the law. Everything else is simple when you live by love is the law, which means you don't need all these other functions which are rule-driven because that's insanity. Okay, that means you're held captive to lower density, which means you live in a clock. When you're living in a clock, you're not going to escape the clock until you're back to first law, which is why we're here. That's simple. Okay? So when you got all these other people that think that they know better than you do, how you're supposed to live your life according to all their rule-driven functions, which are statuites, which is based on a corporation, which is something that is dead, then you're running with the dead. Why do you want to run with all the demons? They're dead. Now, they may look like you because they look human. They're not. They're demons. They're demons wearing skin suits. Those are all your politicians. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that every single one of them are. Okay? Because this is sort of the game that we have to play with them. They have clones. We have clones. So you're in a movie, and we already won this. So it's just like, try and enjoy as much as you possibly can, like I've said a million times, being with your children, go out and have some fun, try and reconnect with the girl on the planet, feel all the living spirit that is out there, okay, and feel your energy go up, okay, because they are intensifying, okay, because we're changing densities, okay, which means we're going from lower consciousness to higher consciousness, which is freedom. Okay, which is dissolving all of the lower functions. All the rule-driven functions are going bye-bye. Okay? Because when you are what love is in living spirit, then that means you're broadcasting that energy everywhere you go. You are free to be who you are. You don't have to live by anybody else's rules because you do no harm. And when you are doing no harm, you are free to go and do whatever you want on the planet. Now you can experience as much as you want because you're freely expressing who you are. That's what makes the single function, which is the first light, which is the first law, which is what love is, so simple and so easy to free yourself from the prison of all the AI functions. Because that's what it is. Anyway, was there anything else I wanted to share before I leave for the day? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I was thinking earlier, I had to put a lot of zinc oxide on my face this morning because the sun is intense because of what the nuclear cabal did. We were aware of that, 50 years ago, and we were trying to protest? No. They don't want free energy out. Because once you're able to use free energy, which is what we are, then you're in waveform alignment with a girl on the planet. Okay? So they were energy harvesters, holding you captive. That way you can be a slave for them. That's ending. That's why we came in here. Okay? Is to free the energy. Okay? The very idea that they hold energy captive when the energy is giving away free energy all the time, just like that sun is like, what happened to basic logic? Well, that goes into all the rule-driven functions that start actually in the womb. So that when a newborn comes out, it's the same rule-driven functions. So those same rule-driven functions get embedded and written into unconscious memory, so you're operating off of rule-driven functions. So that's a programmed unit. Okay? They're not free. So that was what their function was. Okay? Was to put everybody under rule-driven functions. Okay, so now you're basically a slave. Just exactly like Aldous Huxley said in 1962, I believe it was, the year he came out with that book. Don't hold me to the date because my memory's failing, and that's a good thing. But Brave New World is a good lesson. So is a book by Maltz that I read, which was called Cybernetics. I'm not a cyborg. I'm a free spirit. But it's easy to be held captive to what's called assimilation, which is what's essentially losing your identity. And this is one of the most important things about knowing who you are and knowing that you are what love is in living spirit, because it means that your mind has not been captured by artificial intelligence or cybernetic or cybernet. So if you get uploaded into something else that is a machine, if you will, in which all of a sudden you become essentially what it is, because you didn't know the difference between what you are in higher consciousness and what it is that is lower consciousness. You lose your identity. Hey, what am I? You don't know. You don't remember. That's one of the reasons why I was saying before about anchor points. Remember, I was using the example of how we flag. When you come in, you set an anchor. Same way you go down El Capitan when you're repelling, you set the anchor because you already know the future. You've already been there. The picture's in your mind. You're already there. So when you're in the past, you got to put the anchor in there because you want to make sure you fulfill the future you already know has happened. Okay? It's funny how the recorder works that way, but it does work that way down here because you're in a rule-driven time clock. But it lives by one rule, which is love is the law. That's the law on the planet. That's why the Indians live by first law. They didn't want people coming in here to learn from the Indians and the clans. Well, same thing, actually. But they are the teachers, the healers, and the peacekeepers down here. You know, that's pretty self-evident. Look around. We used to get arguments, I admit, when I was really younger. Yeah, but look at all you tribes that are going to war against each other. Oh, man. Now that opens up a whole can of worms, but it's always going to go back to the beginning of, if you will, the hybrid programs. Everything they were doing here with demonic technology. Okay? God knows how many original real Indians are still left that are running RH positive blood, which means they weren't monkeyed with. And that doesn't even include the 3 poles that are still left here. So, you know, when you sort of put this together in sort of a database, what do? They mine data. They're mining our data, just like they mine her data. You know, when they drill a big-ass hole into the planet, mine all of her copper, mine all of her platinum, mine all of her gold, mine diamonds and everything else. They're mining data. That's what it is. It can be numerically quantified and qualified as to what it is that we can measure in time vector. So anyway, I'm done for the day. Have a great day. Have a good time. Everything is forever in the light. Bye now.